Hi there, hi, good afternoon everyone. This is Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and I specialise in digestive health for busy women. So I help busy women fix their reflux, painful digestion, heartburn, IBS, SIBO, etc. Any kind of hormone issues that may be related to those, chronic fatigue and so on. And I do this with state-of-the-art gut testing, hormone testing, anything else we need to do, and then dietary and lifestyle upgrades to gently bring things back into balance for you. So leaky gut is something that comes up an awful lot. It affects not only your gut situation, but then also a whole host of issues can arise around the body. And so quite often it can be instrumental in what's happening in other kind of health situations. So what should happen is, if your gut is functioning optimally, you'll have a nice robust gut lining and no large particles will be passing through from your gut into your wider system. So you have gap junctions in between your cells lining your gut, and they're designed, or they should be, if they're functioning properly, just allow very minute particles to pass through nutrients and so on into a wider system. But if this becomes disrupted and those gaps get too big, then you can end up with big, larger particles passing through, and then they can end up circulating around your body and causing all these inflammatory conditions and so on. So how do you know then if you're affected by it? Well, first up, let's have a look at some causes. So some people are just more genetically susceptible to leaky gut. They may be more sensitive to pollutants in the environment, chemicals and so on, and this can give rise to a leaky gut situation. And they'd be more likely to mount an autoimmune response to this kind of a situation. Diet is a biggie. So there are certain foods that are more likely to trigger a leaky gut. So gluten would certainly be top of the list there. Wheat foods, that kind of thing would be a big one, and other grain-based foods, anything with added sugar, any ultra processed foods, lots of refined oils, anything with additives, that kind of thing. If you have a lot of those, are going to be more likely to trigger a leaky gut situation. Chronic stress is huge. If we're looking at any kind of gut issue, it's going to be really important to get a handle on your stress levels, because the gut and the brain are very closely linked. So particularly with leaky gut as well, that's always going to form a really critical part of any treatment program. Toxins as well are huge. We're surrounded by toxins all day, every day. There's not really an awful lot we can do. What we can do is try and reduce them now. So things like hair dye, personal hair care products, washing powders, and things used to clean the house, etc. If you can use more natural versions of those, that's going to really help to reduce your toxic load and also help to overcome a leaky gut situation. Dysbiosis as well is huge. So dysbiosis being the imbalance in your gut flora. So maybe you've got too many less desirable species of bacteria going on. Maybe you've got some yeasts overgrowing. Candida is a typical sort of a thing that would be triggering a leaky gut situation. And maybe some parasites as well. So your overall gut microbiome may not be functioning optimally, and this may be causing problems, not least a leaky gut situation. So how do you know if you've got it then? Well, first up, certainly any kind of autoimmune condition, a lot of allergies, any kind of systemic inflammation may be linked with a leaky gut. Certainly if you're trying to lose weight as well, if you're having problems managing your weight, I would be looking at leaky gut as playing a part in that as well. Hormone problems, IBS, SIBO definitely would be going possibly hand in hand with leaky gut, type 2 diabetes, thyroid problems and so on. So that's just a few of the conditions that if you are presenting with, I would be wanting to delve a bit further and find out what's going on with your gut health, and particularly whether there's any leaky gut at play. Okay, so once you've done that, it's going to be really important to establish what your trigger foods are and avoid those as far as you can. Definitely get your stress levels under control, particularly if you've had chronic unrelenting stress happening, and then also balancing your microbiome would be critical as well. Of course, it all depends, you know, what's driving the situation for you, your own unique situation, which we can normally establish when we run a fully comprehensive gut test. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. If you did, do like and share, and I shall see you next time. Okay, bye.